Whoa, this isn't the content I usually upload. It's okay, don't worry. If you couldn't tell by the title, this is a school project I turned in for biology. Biology teacher told us we had to make a project on an article that we found on a certain website, procon.org. Luckily, they had a video about video games, which, thank God, otherwise I had to do something that's not important, like abortion. Anyway, I'm late on making my new video, so I'm just gonna upload my school project. So what you're about to see is 101 what I sent to my biology teacher for 8th grade. Alright, enjoy, I guess. Video games. We all play them. And to those of you who are like, oh, well, actually, I don't really play video games. Stop lying to me. I know you do. Back in the 80s and early 90s, video games were seen nothing more than just a children's toy. Hell, that's when Nintendo marketed their first console, the NES, as
"You're playing with power."
But as video games slowly evolved, the more mature people wanted their games to be. Whoa, not that mature. Anyway, as the market for more mature games slowly rose, one singular arcade game would change the landscape of gaming for decades to come. You probably know, but that game is Please bear with me, we'll get to the sciencey nerd stuff soon enough. We're getting ahead of ourselves, let's go back. The year was 1993, and Mortal Kombat had just released in the arcades. It was an overnight sensation, and contrary to popular belief, it was not because it was a mediocre fighting game. If you're wondering why it was popular, well, let's just say, boy oh boy, look at that blood. When it released in the arcades, it was already somewhat controversial, but it really became a problem when it was ported to home consoles. And if you're wondering why, well, that's because you can't really have Donkey Kong right next to the game where it ripped people's spine off. So the US government convened this and they held a Congress. They talked about the legitimacy of having Mortal Kombat and other M-rated games in home consoles. They decided that the only way to solve this issue is to have an age rating for each game, and we call it today as the ESRB rating. Yeah, you know, that little box no one checks these days. And that's the story. Now, while violence in video games was already prevalent beforehand, I feel like this truly started the fire. This really made people question, do video games truly cause violence? And now, do I blame them? I mean, no, come on, like, look at this.
Holy God, what are you showing me? His head. Come on! Open your eyes!
Okay, no, but not in a serious note. I mean, like, look at Doom Eternal. How does someone play that and not become a serial killer? Yeah, if you can't already tell, I am very against the video games causes violence demographic. And here's why, I guess. Number one is just how simple statistics do not support the idea that violent video games have a correlation to any violence whatsoever. Right here, you'll see that countries with high video game use do not have high crime rates. The only one that does is the United States. Furthermore, the Department of Education examined 37 incidents of school violence between 1974 to 2000, and of the 41 attackers, 27% had an interest in violent movies, 24% in violent books, and 37 exhibited interest in their own violent writings, while only 12% showed interest in violent video games. You probably don't need me to spell it out for you, but the report did not find a relationship between playing violent video games and school shootings. The director of the Interpersonal Research Laboratory of a university even went on to state that 90% of young males play video games, finding that a young man who committed a violent crime also played popular video games such as Call of Duty, Halo, Grand Theft Auto, is as pointless as pointing out that the criminal also wore socks. Number 2. As sales of violent video games have significantly increased, juvenile crimes have significantly decreased. Total American sales of video games and hardware and software decreased by 204% between 1994 and 2014, reaching 13.1 billion in 2014, and while violent crimes decreased almost 40%, 37 to be exact, and murders by teenagers acting alone fell 76% in that same period. Need I say more? A reason from the opposing side that video games cause violence is how in 1996 the military licensed Doom 2 as means to train soldiers for war. What they don't go into is how well the soldiers did and if Doom 2 even helped. Because listen, I beat Doom Eternal, but I don't think that means I should be put in the front lines. That's all the time I have to talk today. There's a bunch of reasons why video games don't cause violence, but I believe I've done a sufficient job to convince you if you weren't already convinced already. So, Your Honor, I rest my case. Or is that just a poor excuse for being lazy? Hell if I know. Okay, bye now.